Welcome to the Everyday Game Changers podcast. I'm your host, Barion McQueen, and you know how we do each and every week, talking to game changers in business and music, community, and more. And today's guest fits more than just the business aspect, man. Published author. He actually has his own podcast as well. I got Nelson Rodriguez Jr. in the building. How are you? Nelson in the building, live studio audience. Give it up for Nelson.
Thank you, my brother. I appreciate that.
What's up, my guy? This is like way long overdue.
It is. I had a hella good time when I invited you to my show.
Yeah.
I mean, we were already friends before you came on, and I knew this was going to be a vibe, so I've been looking forward to this for sure.
My introduction to you was really just kind of in passing, right? Like, yo, he's at the studio. This Nelson, he got a podcast. Oh, Barion, you wrote a book? Nelson got a book. It was just like... We kind of have a lot of parallels.
We do.
In the space. But for the people who don't know, especially like with your brand being centered around Tony Montana, right? Give them who Nelson is, and then give them the introduction of why your branding is the way it is.
Sure. So Nelson is a 31-year-old serial entrepreneur. I've been involved in many industries. My main background is in sales, entrepreneurship, leadership development specifically. I've risen to the top of many sales organizations. A specific organization we're probably going to talk about later. I started from nothing, grew it to a few hundred sales agents, about 5,000 clients, pretty big organization we had going there. Transitioned from there into the medical marijuana field, transitioned from there into digital marketing. I mean, I've done everything. Sales and entrepreneurship and leadership, it's very universal. Mm-hmm. So once you know how that works, you can take that into anything, you know what I mean? So my whole journey started when I was about 17 years old in this entrepreneurship game. I discovered my first set of audio books by Jim Rohn.
Oh, fire.
He changed my life.
Okay.
That man, he brought simple philosophies to me like, you know, you don't need more challenges, you just need more wisdom. Don't wish it was easier, wish you were better.
Fire.
Don't wish for less problems, wish for more skills. When I started seeing life that way, in the way that, oh, it's not too expensive, I just can't afford it. You know what I mean?
Facts.
That's why this whole thing about Miami being expensive now,
yeah,
I don't have a problem staying here. Because the problem isn't that it's too expensive, the problem is you can't afford it.
Yeah.
So make more money.
Make more money. Facts.
Not complain about the problem. Bring me a solution. And the solution is, if I want to stay in Miami, I got to make more money. So... And to circle back to Tony Montana, when I sat down to write my book, I said, what was the inception? What was the first time I was ever inspired in life where I got a real vision of someone who went after something and I said, I want to be like this guy? What was that first spark that gave me that sense of ambition that has never really died? And it was when I saw Scarface for the first time. I was 12 years old. I tell the story in the introduction of my book. I was 12 years old. My parents had just gone through a pretty nasty breakup. My mom had moved in my cousin with us, her godson, my cousin Lewis, to keep him out of trouble because he was on probation, on the verge of going to jail. Yeah. So he moved in with us to help her with the bills and to kind of she wanted to keep him in line. And he also served as a male figure in my life because my father had left the house. So it was good for me because although he was kind of a hoodlum, I felt he was more like an older brother, you know? And he had a lot of alpha male qualities that I looked up to. And then he watched Scarface 4 times a day. I'm not exaggerating at all.
Wow.
So I would sit down and watch the movie whenever it was on in the movie in my house. And we had this big wooden, old school, big screen, you know.
The tube version.
Yeah.
And TV got the ass on the back. I know what you're talking about.
With surround sound and DVD had just came out.
Oh, snap.
Just came out. I'm talking about if you had a surround sound system and a DVD player in your house, you were bowling with the Jim Jones voice. Yeah. And my bird's name was Yayo.
Hold on.
I'm not exaggerating. I named my bird. Because guess what was his favorite line? Chi-chi, chi-chi, get the Yale. I'm not exaggerating. You can ask my mother. She's the one that let me name the bird. I'm telling you, we watched it that much. I know the whole movie backwards and forwards. And what I loved about the movie was I didn't see... Obviously, you see it's a cool gangster flick. Yeah. You know, drug dealer, all that stuff. People love that. I love the action and violence too. That's great. But what I saw were the character traits that made him successful. Mm-hmm. I saw that he was ambitious.
Yeah.
I saw that he wouldn't let any obstacles get in the way of what he wanted in life. I saw his clarity of what he wanted to go after.
Yeah.
His non-negotiable, his negotiation skills, being some nobody and like the top gangster in Miami pulling up to him in a Cadillac and be like, oh, I'm gonna pay you this much.
Yeah.
First, you gotta get your way up to 500.
Yeah.
And then he's like, who do you think we are, baggage handlers? You know what I mean? So it's those things that, to me, I saw all those traits that made him successful.
Yeah.
His confidence, you know what I mean? Those kinds of things. It was just a game changer for me because I had never seen anybody in life that had that assurance that I'm going to get what I want.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's funny because, like, my wife thinks I'm infatuated with drug dealers because I used to be in the life, right?
Right.
And what she never understood was just what you said. I love anything that has to do with El Chapo. I love anything to do with Escobar, right? And it wasn't the violence or the gang stuff. It was just like, yo, these people were running big business.
Billion-dollar corporations.
Right? So it's still a system in place. Like, I was low level compared to what these guys. So I was really intrigued with the network. How did they build this network that transcended cross borders and states and countries, and the military is involved and the police and the CIA is involved?
If you think about it, people like Tony Montana, people like Pablo Escobar, people like El Chapo, these guys are even better than business people because they have to get away from the government.
It's crazy.
You know what I mean?
I'm going to tell you something that's the funniest, and Angel knows this, and my wife is going to laugh when she hears this. Our dog's name is Yayo.
I love it.
The reason his name was Yayo is because of my background. When he was born, he was all white. So everybody thinks this name is just the cutest dog name. But if they really knew why.
Rush to the Yayo. Dun, dun, dun.
And it's hilarious anytime everybody say, oh my gosh. So we go to like Pet Life and his vet, and they're like, we love Yayo. Just the name is just, he's so cute. And I'm like, if you only knew.
Bro,
where that name came from. So, like, introduce me to Young Nelson. What is Young Nelson doing? Playing with fire trucks? He's doing martial arts?
So, prior to watching Scarface or Scarface era, I played a lot of video games. Okay. I loved video games. I didn't have many friends. I did good in school. Okay. School was very easy for me. I got straight A's and B's without me even having to really try. My mom was actually kind of frustrated with me because she's like, man, I know you can get straight A's. You don't study for anything.
Not applying yourself. Yeah.
And I said, yeah, because school is boring. You know, from a very young age, I understood that school was a system to entertain me. It was something to keep me entertained, keep me busy. It wasn't really something I needed in life because I saw my mom and my dad and my uncle, and I saw real people in real life, and I said, when do they use the periodic table?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's important for somebody.
Yeah, just not for where
exactly. So Young Nelson was pretty reserved. I loved movies.
Okay.
Oof. I could tell you so many movies. I mean, Scarface is my favorite film. But if we go into movies as a kid, man.
Do you have a niche that you fall into?
I mean, as I got older, the mobster movies, yeah. The mob movies they hit different, man.
Yeah.
And especially if we're talking Scorsese.
Okay.
If we're talking De Niro.
Fire.
If we're talking the best actor of all time, Al Pacino. You know what I mean? Like, there's no comparison. The greatness, these guys. Have you seen Heat?
I did.
Tell me that scene in the diner is not the greatest scene in the history of film.
The reason I asked you is it niche based, right?
I've watched a lot of other stuff and I enjoy other things, but my favorite, if I had to pick, the mob genre. 100%.
My wife, like, I like just different stuff, right? Like, I like all the mob movies, right? I love anything Pablo Escobar. I probably watched every cartel.
Narcos.
Narco, everything. I've watched all of that. My wife is in this weird niche of, like, disease, natural disasters and espionage. That's her lane.
Interesting. Okay.
Of like some kind of plague takes over and the government was behind it. Like that's her lane. All
like
the
conspiracy
time.
theory stuff.
All of that espionage. Like she love a good twist where with the government, and I'm just like, your stuff's not that far off from the stuff that I watch. I just get the gangster aspect.
Right.
And you just want to see the president cheating on his wife.
Pretty much. Yeah,
basically. Yeah. But
I did not have sexual relations.
Yeah,
with
but
that
then
woman.
she's into like this zombie thing, bro.
Yeah,
so she's like,
Apocalypse.
After The Walking Dead, she wants to watch anything that has to do with something turning.
That was too long, man.
And I'm just like,
that was too long.
Just recently, she's like, hey, Daryl Dixon's new story, they got a spinoff. And I'm just like, oh, I thought we was done with the
spinoff to the spinoff to the spinoff.
I love good gangster movies, though. I love good action movies.
There's nothing like Casino.
Yeah.
Goodfellas.
That's classics, though. That's classic.
Man.
I'll watch anything Denzel Washington is into.
Denzel is another one. I mean, he's had
I didn't even
American Gangster. That's possibly his best film. Are you kidding me?
Shout out to my best friend Ed Lucas, because
I already know.
Yeah.
All right.
Frank Lucas's family. But no, it's so funny because I started watching Godfather of Harlem.
I was about to bring that up. That show is good.
And the reason I was watching that is because I wanted to see, after watching American Gangster, I wanted to see the parallels.
Yo, because Bumpy, as soon as I was, you know what got me in American Gangster? You never saw anything about Bumpy. He died in the beginning.
Right.
And you were like, yo, he was the greatest gangster of his era, and then he dies?
Yeah.
And now obviously Frank Lucas takes over and does it way bigger than he ever did. But still, you're like, man, he's the one that started it. And then they read my mind. I want to say I manifested Godfather of Harlem because for years I was like,
you wanted to know that
Bumpy,
story.
who is Bumpy?
Yeah.
And then this is fictionalized, obviously. It's not entirely, but still, I like how they tie in because obviously they want to talk about, the social aspects and racism and things.
Yeah.
And what I love about that show is it's very authentic.
100%.
It was an era where
that was real.
A lot of people were racist as hell.
Hell yeah.
Italians were doing their thing.
Yeah.
But then you had this black man in Harlem that really was the godfather of Harlem. Like, and then he knew Malcolm X. And the way it all ties in is very interesting.
It was really put together. I was mad I was late to watching that because I just watched it this year and I was just like,
still,
it's an amazing series.
I don't think I've seen season 3 yet. I don't remember. I think I've seen season 1 and 2. I don't remember if I've seen season 3.
When you get into this space of sales, at what point does it click to you that, I'm good at this?
Immediately. So my first experience with sales was network marketing. I get involved and I see people who are not inferior to me because I'm not better than anybody, but people who were less capable as far as I'm a quick learner. I work harder than them, and I saw them making money. And I said, if this joker over here can make money, I can make money.
Yeah.
So sales to me was never this impossible, oh, no, I can't, oh, I'm not a salesperson, all that. To me, it was just learn how to do it and work really hard. That's it. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it clicked for me immediately. Now, when did I get results? That's a different story.
Okay.
It took me a while.
When you get to a point, because I always say this, I'm like, they like, oh man, some people is just gifted with sales, right? They just put the reps in to where it don't matter the product anymore, right? How discouraging is it if you're learning sales, but behind the scenes, the product, you wouldn't even use it?
Why are you there?
That's my point.
Why are you there?
Yeah.
If you don't believe in the product, you shouldn't be selling it, period. You can't sell a shitty product. Your sense of disbelief in the product will come out when you're talking to your client. Your sense of not liking this product that you're trying to sell them, that you wouldn't use yourself. You know what irritates the dog shit out of me? Is car salesmen who don't own the brand they're trying to sell me. I used to work at Cadillac. One car salesman had a Cadillac. I was like, yo, I wouldn't buy, I told all of them, I wouldn't buy a car from any of you. You don't own a Cadillac. I would buy a car from him.
Interesting.
If I ever buy a car at a dealership, which don't even get me started. I worked at a dealership. If I ever buy a car at a dealership, the first question, who here has a Cadillac? No, for real. Don't bullshit me. Who has a Cadillac for real? Or it could be Toyota, whatever I'm trying to buy. I buy American, but whatever. Oh, Jose. All right, Jose. Yeah. All right, cool. Let's do this. Let's go see the car I want. Because if you don't own the product you're trying to sell, you're full of shit.
That's the equivalent to when I see kids that work at the mall. They have to wear H&M if they work at H&M.
Exactly.
They have to wear Forever 21.
Exactly.
If they. So the thing is, like, in the network marketing space,
right?
Nobody ever gives me the truth about network marketing, right? I've seen, because I think there's a misconception. Some people confuse network marketing with like pyramid schemes and all of these things, right? But network marketing is a real,
it's a legitimate business where you can make money. Yes.
So my thing is, like, how do you find? I just never see nobody last long in it. And what?
Because they're full of shit.
That's the part I needed to hear.
So here's the issue with network marketing. The business model is the best. It's the best. Everything is being spread by word of mouth, and you only pay commission. So it's literally the best business model that's ever been invented. And not only that, your salespeople are mad raging fans because they're getting rich in the process if they do it right and if they work hard. So it's a perfect business model. The issue is the person. So there's three things you got to look at. One is the people who start the company. Who are they? What's their background? What have they done in life? What makes them worthy of leading a team? Do they have the background in sales and in network marketing or whatever product they're trying to push? That's one. So first and foremost, the people I'm involved in. Second, the product. Do I believe in the product? Is it something that's really going to help you in the marketplace? Is it something that's really going to serve people? Is it something that is really going to attack a real demographic that really needs it? Ask these questions. Third, is this something I see myself doing? You could be a good team and be a good product, but sometimes you just don't align with my values. And there's nothing wrong with that. You could be a good person and have a good product, and it's just not for me. I'm not going to push cosmetics. I'm not going to be a Mary Kay salesman. I'm not going to push a pink Cadillac, but they're a great company.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They do good things.
I just think about, like, on my block, there was Miss Brenda was her name. Was it Miss Brenda? Miss Diane was the Mary Kay lady on my block. And she would literally have a table sitting in front of her house.
Selling Mary Kay.
So in my mind, I'm like...
That's old school network marketing too. Mary Kay, Amway.
I'm like, how long has Mary Kay been in business? It's got to be... Somebody's making money. This thing would have shut down a long
multi-billion-dollar corporation.
But it's like, at what point is it just like, just out of habit? This is all I know is Mary Kay. I'm just gonna stick with it.
So here's the misconception. You ready for why I left?
Yeah.
The network marketing company I was in, and again, this is my personal experience, and from what I've seen, it's the industry as a whole. The selling point is you're an independent business owner, and that's a lie. You are not an independent business owner. You are an independent sales representative of that company, which there's nothing wrong with that. But don't tell me I'm an independent business owner. I don't own anything. I own nothing. I'm a high-paid salesperson. If you would have told me I'm a high-paid salesperson from the beginning, I wouldn't have had an issue with you. But they made it seem like you own. No, I don't have equity in your company. I don't have shares. This isn't a public company. You didn't give me stock.
Yeah.
Right? None of that. I earned my way. All the money I made, I sold my way to the top of that company.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I'm a high-paid salesperson. But don't sit here and tell me that I'm an independent business because I don't own anything.
Well, so they selling it like you almost having your own company within there.
And I'll give you exactly one of the experiences that happened to me. There was the first of many strikes where I was 1 month. So I used to sell telecommunication services, home services. It was cell phone, TV, internet, all that kind of stuff. So I used to get paid every time you paid your bill. It was a residual check for every customer I got, every customer on my team. 1 month, the residual check just didn't come. And I said, Okay, I'll give it to him the next week. Next week didn't come. I got worried. I called the company. Hey, guys, why haven't you paid me? They look. Oh, we got to transfer you to compliance. What do you mean compliance? Well, compliance is they transfer me? Who is this person? I don't know. Who is that person? Okay, so this person said that you signed them up for a service without their consent, so we're going to need some sort of proof that you signed them up. So you're going to have to tell them to call us and say that like all this horse shit. And then I realized, wow, so I owe nothing. Because at any moment, if they feel like I did something wrong,
that's it.
They'll hit the God button and my income is gone.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you was working for a telecommunications and that was a network marketing play?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah. It was the pitch was genius. We got paid every month when you paid your bill. So it was like, who doesn't have a cell phone? Who doesn't have internet? Who doesn't have cable? Back then, we didn't really have streaming services like that. So it was genius. You know what I mean? It was genius.
I'm like floored here. So recently, because I've been hearing I got a real estate license, right? And I'm getting a lot of pitches from EXP real estate agents, right? They like, yo, Barion, because you do so much, man, you could be letting that license work for you, right? People, like if you don't want to do real estate full time, yo, you just come over to EXP and you just get people under your team. And then I'm like, oh, so this is multi-level marketing in the real estate business. This sounds a little bit more safe to me because I'm like, real estate, I can physically touch it. I can see it. How does this work? So it actually got my attention because I didn't know they was doing this level of thing in real estate. Like I've heard like products, hair creams, Maluka and all of these other companies.
Maluka, Amway, Herbalife,
same shit.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, they doing this with real estate. This looks a
Promising.
little bit better.
Right.
And then I'm like, it just feels scammy to me though.
I feel you. So here's, again, I'm the right guy to talk to about this.
Yeah.
So if you want to get into entrepreneurship and sales, network marketing is great. If you know nothing about being an entrepreneur, nothing about being a salesperson, it's a great school. That taught me all the basics, like the base of who I am.
Yeah.
Got built in network marketing.
Okay.
So it's a great school. At least where I was a great business school. They had great leadership, great books to recommend, great mentorship. Yeah. So that all molded me. And I believed in the product. So I'm going to break this down. You got to have good leadership in the company. If it's something you want to do, something you want to pursue, you have no other real avenues of like becoming an entrepreneur, you got to have good leadership. So like I said, the people that own the company, the people that are going to mentor you, who are they? Are they people worth following? Are they good mentors? Are they good leaders, right? That's very important. 2, the product. Product-based companies it's not happening. The point is to make residual income, right? Yeah. So if you have to sell a product every month, then it's bullshit. Forget the soaps, the lotions, the coffees, all that stuff. That's not happening. If it's a product, don't even get involved. Get in something that's service-based. That's my recommendation. Service where you sell it once, they keep buying it every month, you get paid every month. All right? And then third, you have one of 2 options. You can stay there, build a long-term. Again, I'm going to go back to what I said. You own nothing. You don't own anything. So you can either stay there, build a big income, maybe go to get offers from other companies once you're big. But ultimately, you want to have an exit strategy. That's my recommendation. So, which I never had. I left on bad terms, and it was what it was.
What's the most money you ever made in network marketing? Like in a year, like your best year?
75,000.
75,000.
Yeah. But I was like a 21, 22, 23-year-old kid.
And when you say 75,000, is that like, bro, I was making 1,000 calls, or I was like,
that was grinding my ass off
for 75K?
Yeah.
So you earned that shit.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate your honesty because I 100%. Can't get nobody to talk about this.
Yeah, no.
It's like a magic trick. When I ask these questions, they try to misdirect me somewhere else.
No.
And it's not like, it's not that I want to downplay the business. I just want somebody that's been in it to help me understand. Because if 100%. It's legit and it's like, oh, Barion, you just didn't know. It's like, oh, okay, now.
Here's another fallacy that they sell you. You ready for this one? So here's this is a business principle. Leadership starts from the top down. Meaning, if you're working, your team is going to work. If you are grinding, your team is going to grind. If you are doing what you need to do to expand, your team is going to do what they need to do to expand. The second you stop, people are going to stop. The leadership is from the top down. People do what you do, not what you say. So, again, network marketing is going to sell you this residual income. Now, things have changed, right? Because everything's virtual.
Yeah.
And you can do meetings across the world from your living room and all that. I get it. There's still an element of this. When they see that you're not working and not putting in the work, because your team needs to see you. They need to see you setting the example. Leading by example is huge in life, not just in network marketing. In life, you need to lead by example. That's why at work, when you have a job and your boss tells you what to do, you're telling him, in your brain, because he's telling you what to do and he's not doing anything.
Right.
That's why you don't like him. Being a boss. A leader is leading from the front. People died. Soldiers of Napoleon and soldiers of Alexander the Great died for them because they loved them. They led from the front. Alexander the Great was known for charging cavalry into the center of the army and straight up doing like a straight up attack on the leader of the army. So he would, while his army was fighting the other army, he would go straight up like into the middle of the war and look for the top dog and chop his head off. That's why people loved Alexander. That's why the armies followed him. Same thing with Napoleon. This lead from the front warrior general, that's the mindset I have. I'm not willing to ask other people to do things I'm not willing to do because I've done them already.
Yeah.
And even when I did back then and I had a team, and now even when I, building teams in my media company and in my podcast, when I ask people to do things, most of the time they do them because they know I'll go to war for them.
Yeah.
I'll go to war with you. This isn't me being your boss.
Yeah.
Even though I might be your boss. This is me showing you, listen, this is what works. And I'm going to do this with you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a different mentality.
I'm building this media company, and it's shocking when people see me out as Barion McQueen and I'm working. It's the weirdest interaction. I should start filming this. But I want to talk to you about, why did you write a book?
Okay.
Like, what made you even write a book?
So this is good. Have I told this on a podcast yet? I don't know. All right. So I used to own a company in the medical marijuana space.
Okay.
We were doing really well. I built that company from 0 to 4,000 clients in 4 years. We were doing multiple six figures, doing really good, on the verge of 7 figures. We were actually getting approached about getting acquired. We were doing really well. And then the FBI comes knocking on my door and I get arrested over some really stupid shit that I should have never done. And it involved healthcare fraud. And I was just a very small fish in that pond. And it just involved enough for me to get arrested. So that happened. What I got arrested for happened back in 2017. This is fast forward 2021 is when I got arrested. Overnight, I'm banned from working in healthcare. Overnight. So I lose my business, my baby that I've been building for four years. To make it worse, instead of me and my partner meet up, hey, listen, I can't be involved in this. I have no income overnight. We need to sell this. Give me my share and we part ways, and then I'll figure out what to do with my life. He sells it. He doesn't tell me about it. I found out he sold it from the dude who bought it from him. Turned into a whole thing. I still didn't get any money. It's a whole another. Anyway. So I'm sitting in my room, and I'm looking up at the roof, and I said, if I die tomorrow, there's no proof I was here. Zero proof I was here. And I said, man, all the people that I've read about are dead, but they wrote a book. And it's almost like they're immortal. They live forever. Even though they died, and even though they did things in their lifetime that I never saw, I read this book, and it's almost like I lived through them, and I understand their way of being and their way of thinking and what was going on in their brain and in their heart and their soul when they were living. And I said, I'm going to write a book because even no matter what happens, regardless of the legal situation I was in, this will be here forever.
What? I didn't even know that. I'm glad you segued though, because now that just changed where I was going with this. What is that experience? Like, I'm somebody that's been arrested, but I've never been in jail. I'm
been in prison.
Correct. I've been in holding cells.
Yeah, you've been in jail. You've never
I've been in jail, but I ain't never been in prison, right? Where I slept there. Yeah. I was more like up all night until somebody could find out where my car has been towed or like whatever, kind of stuff, right? Yeah. What's that experience? What has jail taught you from other people's experiences? Because I know when me and you talk, you like, yo, I tell people the best advice I get is from homeless people. You tell me, yo, the stories I hear from jail are crazy. And I know we was talking about Ian Bick. You guys gonna connect,
I'm gonna
right?
have him on my show soon, yeah.
Tell me about that experience. Like, what is it like in there? For somebody, just paint the picture.
So having the weight of the federal government on your shoulders, like on you, is the most uncomfortable and torturous experience a human being will ever have. I don't wish that on my worst enemy. Having the weight of the full weight of the federal government on you, knowing, like, listen, like, your life, no, it's not happening. Like, you're ours now.
Wow.
That I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. I'll start with that. Aside from that, I actually was more calm once they sentenced me. Yeah. I was sentenced to 8 months to prison. And I was actually calmer after they sentenced me than before. It's almost like fear of the unknown, and then once you know what's going to happen, it's like, all right, whatever, it's going to happen. I went to prison up in Coleman Prison Camp, up in Central Florida. And funny enough, so there's levels of security in federal prison. So it starts off at max, which is the penitentiary, called the pen. That's your psychos, your rapists, your terrorists, your, mobsters, like high-level people go there. One level below that is called the medium. You still got some pretty crazy guys in there, but there's a lot of guys that stay in the pen that don't qualify to come down here. Still got your prison gangs, still got all that stuff. You go one more level down, you got the low. Now, the low is a lot more calm. There's a lot of guys that don't qualify to go down to the low. You got to have like 20 years or less on your sentence, and a couple other things that make you not qualify to go down to the low. And then the last one is minimum security, which is the camp. That's where I went. Oh, fire. Yeah, so there, no serial killers, no murderers, no rapists, no child molesters. 2 people qualify to go there. Financial crimes and drug dealers. That's it. You know what I mean? And some people, maybe if you got a gun charge but nobody got hurt, you'll go there. So I wasn't with any of the crazy people. Got it. There's no real prison gang activity going on. I mean, there's gangs, but they're on the low, because if the cops find out you're involved in a gang or there's gang activity, they take you out of there and they throw you back in the low. So I was there for 5 months. I got sentenced in October of last year. I had to surrender January 9th of this year, and I got released to the halfway house on May 25th. So going to prison might be the best thing that's ever happening.
Why is that?
It taught me so many good things. The best lesson I've ever learned was from prison is patience. Sometimes things are not in your control. And that's okay. Yeah. What are you going to do with this moment once you realize that control is an illusion, control is a lie? So what are you going to do now? You can't control it. Forget trying to control it. Now what are you going to do? And I just chose to improve myself. I said, I can't control when I get out of here, and I can't control the fact that I'm stuck here. What I can't control is what I do with me. Yeah. So I read 31 books while I was in there. I worked out 3 times a day, learned how to do yoga. I met a Buddhist in there that taught me the craziest things. Like he changed my whole perspective on life. He taught me something pretty crazy where he was like, flow like water, Bruce Lee. I used to see life as kind of like this fight. I used to think life was a war, and you have to win the war at all costs. Now I see life as a river with a really strong current. If you flow with that current, it'll take you where you want to go. But if you try to fight that current, you're going to die of exhaustion. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it was interesting. I met some great people. There's a lot of good people in there that just, like me, they made a mistake. Yeah. And they went to prison. And it is what it is. There's a lot of not good people in there.
100%. I want to ask you, because you being somebody that actually had a podcast show, you actually prepped.
I did.
For this.
I did, yeah. So,
and nobody would even know you was gone.
Yeah, if you didn't know that I was gone, you thought I was on the street recording, yeah. So I prepped, I recorded. Actually, right when you met me, I was in the middle of this process. I was recording enough episodes to where I can post them while I was gone. Wow. Yeah, so I had, and then when I got back, they were still in the process of posting. So, yeah, I prepped. I prepared And that's why my podcast, you know, we have a couple viral clips.
Yeah.
One on YouTube's doing 100,000 views over that. Another one on Instagram just hit 750,000 views today. I got another one on TikTok doing like 60,000. All these, if it wasn't for that preparation that happened while I was gone, this wouldn't happen. So
what makes you even want to get into this podcasting space?
I have a lot of life experience.
Okay.
And I feel like I'm doing a disservice to humanity if I don't put it out there. You know, there's so many things I've been through personally that I know will serve somebody out there who's in the process of going through something.
Yeah.
And if they manage to see a clip of me, read my book, catch me on the street at a seminar or something like that, it'll make a difference. And it's already happening. You know, at the barbershop today, I was getting my hair cut, and my barber has my book on his mirror. Someone walked in, sat down, grabbed my book, started reading. He's like, listen, can I buy this? I was like, yeah. I went to the car, grabbed one from the trunk, autographed it, handed it to him.
Yeah.
He DM'd me, man, I'm reading it. Thank you. You know, so, and it's exciting because I just started. I started podcasting a little over a year ago.
Yeah.
So,
what does the end result for you look like?
Full Circle Media, 9-figure media company. Big podcast network, biggest podcast in the game, signed to the network. Big PR agency, you know, biggest PR name in the game. Best New York Times bestselling author. Big time media podcasting coach, mentor, and an Emmy award-winning writer for a TV show.
Okay.
And having the next Batman. I'm in the middle of writing a comic book, so
okay.
I'm aspiring to turn that into the next Justice League, if you will.
I asked somebody on this podcast a question the other day, and I've never asked this question until that day, but I'm going to ask this question to you. When was the last time you took a vacation?
July 2021, the week before the FBI arrested me.
Oh, he was like, I got to get one in real quick.
No. I didn't know they were going to arrest me.
Oh, snap.
When they arrested me, the FBI agent said, we knew you were in Colombia. We let you go and come back to let you have your vacation before we arrested you. And I was like, oh, thanks,
so
agent.
You got a little vacation
guy.
there.
Yeah.
Oh, so that was a good timing there. You got it. Colombia, of all places, is a good place.
So that was 2.5 years ago.
Okay. The reason I asked that is because we be grinding so hard, right? And it's like, we know what we doing it for, but we struggle with, we know there's no such thing as balance, right? But we struggle with
balance is a myth.
The self-care aspect of,
oof, that's a big one,
right? So
for me,
it's like,
I learned that was another part of prison that was very important. Yoga has helped me so much with I used to have really bad knee problems. My shoulder used to kill me, my back. My 30 minutes of yoga every day from 12 to 12:30, it's changed my life.
Fire.
Yeah, so I do yoga, I work out, I eat right. I try to get sleep, even though that's a hard one for me, but
yeah,
I try to at least get my 6-7 hours in, you know. So I make sure I'm putting good things in my mind. What are you eating mentally?
Yeah.
What are you eating emotionally, spiritually?
Yeah.
You know, I have most people think I'm weird, but I have to have at least an hour a day in the car where it's silent and I'm by myself.
Fire. I've been not listening to, I used to be just like Les Brown all the time. Right?
Yeah. Or like Alex Ramosi or Patrick Bet-David is like my idol. You have no idea. Patrick Bet-David is who I want to be in life.
Yeah.
I went to his vault conference last month and I was like, bro, oh my God.
So when you go through this checklist of all of these things, 9-figure media agency, all of this, what happens after you achieve all of that? Do you just go off in the sunset and retire in Indonesia on the beach chilling? Like, what's the end result look like once you check all those boxes?
Well, there's a personal aspect, right? I want to get married, have kids, be a good father.
Okay.
But if we're talking, there'll be another mountain, I'm sure, you know.
Those are just for now, right?
Yeah.
I tell myself, like, people like, yo, man, after you, like, what is left? You've done everything. What is left? And I'm like, yo, I don't know. I talk retirement a lot though. Like sometimes I feel like I'm exhausted.
I think people like you and me could never really retire.
Yeah.
We'll conquer this mountain and then we'll take a break, and then the hunger, the salivation in the mouth of like,
Yeah.
we'll see other people in the boxing ring winning titles,
And we like,
and we'll just be like,
the itch.
I could beat that guy, you know?
Got the itch.
You know?
You've done something really good though, because you navigated entrepreneurship, still kind of working, right? And doing both, right? At what point do you get to a point where you like, okay, this got to overcome the job that I work, because what I'm trying to do is so much bigger than that space? What's one piece of advice you could leave for somebody that's in that position? Like, a lot of people that watch this platform still have a 9-to-5, might got a little side hustle or something they building on the side. Right. My personal advice, I quit my job too early if I could do it over, right?
100%. I did the same thing.
I quit way too early.
Way too early. 100%.
What's one piece of advice you could leave for that person?
Do you know Alex Ramosi?
I do.
He says the hardest decision he ever made in his life was quitting his job. So if you're watching this and you have a job and you have a side hustle, do not be quick to quit your job. Be quick to develop yourself in the process of working that job. You need to develop yourself, and once you're at a certain level, that's when you can quit your job. How do you know you're at that level? You have the results. You have the income, you have the body, you have the relationship, whatever you're chasing, whatever it is. Once you have the results, you're ready. You can't rush results. You have to put in the work, put in the time, and when you're ready, you're ready. Don't rush it. Again, going back, what's the biggest lesson I learned? Patience. Be patient, because everything has a process. Everything. You can't be so arrogant as to think that you're going to tell life how life is supposed to work. Life has been around for billions of years, and it's going to be around billions of years after it shakes you off like a flea when you die and turn into dust. So let life take its process. Put in work, and also feel that process of internal change daily. And let it flow, and let the results come. Let them come to you. Like I said, I've just learned to understand that you got to follow the process. You know what I mean? Trust the process. The Sixers have that in their gym. Trust the process.
Hey. Y'all been tuned in to another episode of the Everyday Game Changers. Nelson, thank you for your expertise.
Thank you
for sharing. Please make sure y'all tell them where they could get this book, please.
Well, if you're in Miami, DM me. Maybe you'll get an autographed copy, but you can buy this on Amazon. Go to @Montana the Prophet. That's my Instagram, or @Montana Method Mindset. That's the Instagram for my podcast. If you want to check out the podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, Montana Method Podcast. You can pick this up on Amazon. Like I said, you'll see a link in my bio for the link me. All that is in there, my website, where to buy my book, where to buy my audiobook as well, if you want to buy that. So
appreciate you.
Appreciate you, brother. Thank you for the invitation.
We out.